A peaceful retreat outside an HOA turns into a nightmare when the association president launches a ruthless campaign to seize a neighbor's land. Armed with drones, evidence, and unyielding resolve, one homeowner fights back against fraud, trespassing, and corruption in this gripping tale of property rights and sweet justice. I purchased property beyond the HOA boundaries, seeking tranquility and clear boundaries. Then the association president arrived at sunrise with heavy machinery to seize my land. They believed a fake work order and a pretending official would intimidate me, but they were unaware my drone had recorded them, shifting my boundary pins under cover of darkness. Evidence I intended to leverage by summoning the sheriff and ending their scheme. Before getting into the details, tell me if you've ever dealt with an entitled busybody in the comments below. I create maps professionally. Boundaries are my passion. Where one area ends, where another begins, and who has the authority to decide. It's a precise, orderly field. You sketch a boundary, you mark what's inside and outside, and the matter is settled. My landline was a straightforward, elegant feature. On one side, my 4 acres of wild, lush forest; on the other, the perfectly groomed yards of Granderson Estates, a community where they likely find residence if grass strands aren't uniformly aligned. I chose this land precisely because it sat outside that boundary, beyond the reach of any homeowners association. I assumed that line was as solid as the title document stored in my safe. I was mistaken. The conflict began not with drama, but with the deep, mechanical growl of a large engine early one morning. It's a noise that clashes with dawn, birdsong, and soft leaf movements. It's the rumble of development, I suppose, but it was heading straight for my rear boundary. I quickly dressed in jeans and shoes, snatching my phone. My wife, Diane, was already awake, looking out through the window coverings. "Damien, what's that noise?" she asked quietly, her tone filled with worry matching my own. I had no response, but a strong suspicion. I stepped onto the rear porch, leaving my coffee untouched, and saw it. A large yellow earth mover sat mere inches from my rustic fence, its motor running steadily like a predator preparing to strike. Standing before it, posture rigid, was the lead antagonist herself, Karen Fraser, head of the Granderson Estates, HOA. She wore a spotless white athletic outfit that likely cost more than my early vehicles, appearing both misplaced and completely dominant. She noticed me and flashed a fake victorious grin. "Good morning, Mr. DeClaire," she said loudly, her tone cutting. Perfect weather for neighborhood enhancements. I descended the slight hill of my yard to stand on my side of the barrier. A sturdy worker in protective headgear lounged against the machine, seeming uninterested. "Karen," I replied evenly. "It's a technique I mastered long ago. Speak softly when others raise their voice. It forces them to listen closely and feel unbalanced." "That's quite the machinery. Planning a swimming hole." Her grin stiffened. "We're tidying the setback area," she declared as if it were obvious. She waved toward my tresemme ancient oaks and hickories. "My land. This section is overgrown. It's a fire risk and lowers home values. The association has approved taking it back for a pleasant shared green space." I paused briefly. "Taking it back. This is my property. The setback you mention is just a mark on a plate, and your lots stop at this fence." I indicated the metal pin partly buried in the soil, one I'd verified recently. She let out a sharp, humorless laugh. "That's your error. The development rules explicitly allow the association to manage appearance and safety in the setback for everyone. España. We have approval." She brandished a document, holding it like an authoritative decree. From experience with official papers, I knew it likely held no more weight than a shopping note. "I haven't received any approval notice," I stated calmly, "and no county official has notified me to alter my land. So, please remove your equipment and leave." The worker chuckled and stood straighter. He was broad and heavy. "Listen, buddy, we have work. The woman says clear vegetation, we clear it." He advanced toward the fence. "That crossed my limit." "Another step," I warned, tone shifting to firm. "And I'm reporting trespassing to authorities." Karen's expression turned from triumphant to enraged instantly. "You can't. This is an approved association activity. We managed the setback." She yelled the term oddly in the still air. "I simply dialed emergency services. Watch." The confrontation was tense and uncomfortable, as expected. Nearby, homes lit up. Residents in nightwear emerged with beverages and devices recording. Karen's performance had spectators. The idling machine provided the only noise. A local deputy's vehicle arrived soon after. He appeared young, weary, and unenthusiastic about handling a land issue at dawn. He heard Karen's forceful claims about safety and her document. He heard my factual account of boundaries and ownership. He examined her paper, then addressed me. "Sir, this seems to be an internal association directive, not a legal mandate. I can't permit fence removal or tree cutting based on this." Karen appeared shocked. "But the setback," the deputy sighed, familiar with such personalities. "This is civil, ma'am. If you claim ownership, pursue it legally. Stay off his side for now," he advised me. "Ensure your pins are visible." His expression mixed caution and understanding. "This may continue." Karen said nothing as he left. She whispered to the operator, "The boundary will shift regardless." Her glare at me was venomous, promising conflict. I knew the fight was beginning. The campaign shifted from direct action to paperwork, a flood of it. My mailbox is filled with formal envelopes bearing the association's emblem. Karen, thwarted initially, opted for endless minor attacks. First came a violation notice for unapproved vegetation, then for improper boundary marking. My long-standing rustic fence suddenly violated rules. Fines accumulated. My favorite was a penalty for aesthetic disturbance, with a blurry image of Diane's small garden figurine by the bird feeder. The figurine, named Bartholomew, offended community tastes. Diane was outraged. "This is ridiculous. We're not members," she paced, holding the notice like critical proof. "I agree," I said, hiding amusement. "It's pure intimidation. She aims to make existence miserable until we yield or depart." Diane is gentle and logical, but threats to home or decorations awaken her resolve. "She's chosen the wrong targets," she declared fiercely. "What now?" I reviewed the notices. "She wants document warfare. We'll engage. Mapping is my expertise. Precision, details, formal papers, and I own an excellent laminator." That weekend, I designed my response document, using elegant lettering and serious framing. It is titled, "Authorized License to Handle Personal Affairs." It permitted one Damien Duclair to maintain trees freely, keep a charming rustic barrier, and display harmless decorative items. I signed dramatically, laminated it, and secured it to the fence facing Karen's home with strong ties. I knew she'd notice. It was immature, but satisfying. Diane joined me outside, read it, and laughed. "You're awful," she said fondly. "I am," I agreed. For added effect, I included a scannable code linking to the official plat map with a marker. "Not your property." Logs showed multiple accesses from the community center network soon after. Educational outreach. My following tactic drew from a relative's tale about diverting intrusive neighbors. Karen arranged a professional boundary review. I spotted the vehicle parked nearby for days. I purchased numerous colorful marker flags and, after dark, placed them haphazardly across my yard clusters by the postbox. Patterns on the grass, one atop Bartholomew's hat. The next day, from my workspace, I observed the professional staring confused at the chaos. He spent time removing my distractions before beginning actual work. Minor win, but rewarding. The light-hearted exchanges ended abruptly. A registered letter arrived, requiring signature bonus. It contained a lengthy proposal for required neighborhood enhancement, filled with technical terms about invasive plants, soil stability, and stream protection. Previously ignored issues, now justified action. It outlined removing uncontrolled vegetation for a natural open area. Most concerning, it scheduled a group volunteer Diane my rear yard. They planned organized intrusion, framed as public service. It relied on implied agreement and bewilderment, targeting my boundary post letter. Our home atmosphere darkened. Humor faded. This was organized aggression. Karen sought our land, crafting false legitimacy. I couldn't wait for their event. I needed advanced knowledge of plans. As a cartographer, I rely on evidence. My pins were correctly placed. But what if relocation was their strategy? Bold and unlawful, but consistent with their actions. I prepared a detection system, an advanced one. My profession involves GPS, aerial data, and drones. I own several, but favor a silent custom model named Noctua for its quiet flight and thermal vision. It detects small animals from high altitude in darkness, ideal for unobserved activity. That evening, after Diane slept, I established monitoring in the main room. Controller connected to display. I deployed Noctua from the porch, positioning it high above treetops, viewing the border. I waited, drinking cooled coffee, observing thermal views. Hours passed uneventfully. Wildlife appeared: a deer, a scavenger. Peaceful? I questioned my suspicion. Perhaps Karen wouldn't commit crimes. As I prepared to stop, around early hours, a vehicle appeared and marked. Engine warm. Parked without lights. Two individuals emerged, partially masked thermally but visible. They carried tools in a bag, moving purposefully to my edge. Heart racing, this was real. Thermal zoom showed them at a corner pin, extracting it forcefully, discarding it. They measured inward 30 feet and inserted a basic wooden replacement, redrawing boundaries secretly. A light swept nearby. I paused. It passed. Recording continued silently from height. They repeated at other points, claiming strips of my land. Anger mixed with composure. I possessed proof. No longer hearsay. At the last pin, one faced upward briefly. Thermally poor for identification, but switching to high-definition night mode captured clearly. Frozen frame, recognizable bill, landscaper, introduced by Karen as exclusive provider, connections formed clearly, not mere overreach. Organized plot. With aerial evidence, dynamics shifted. Beyond minor disputes, criminal proof, but a strategic approach was needed. Raw video might be dismissed, required undeniable exposure with witnesses. Conveniently, she arranged one. A community forum post appeared from Karen, with an angled photo making my woods appear menacing. Masterful, subtle attack. Safety worries from unmanaged areas. Portrayed me as uncooperative, prioritizing self over community. Announced urgent gathering to approve funding for improvements. Attendance urged. I observed her practice speech. Authorized access soon. She attempted exclusion, but rules allowed adjacent owners. She sought support and approval. I sought presentation equipment. Diane is furious at the portrayal. I smiled, preparing data. She provided the platform. Evening arrived. I dressed appropriately and attended the venue. Stares abundant. Karen succeeded in villainizing me. The room is full. Karen at the podium, exuding control. She reiterated claims, risks, values, my non-cooperation. Identified me. Witnessing process. Murmurs, glares. I rose. Karen, may I speak? Surprised. She allowed generously, expecting outburst. I approached the front. No words. Holding a storage device. But a brief clip on the enhancements. Panic flashed, but the public setting trapped her. She agreed to display screen-activated, not woods, but thermal recording. Silence as figures intruded. Removed pins. Inserted fraudulent ones 30 feet inward. Paused. Switched to clear view. Zoomed on face. Recognize him. Gasps. Bill, the landscaper. Whispers escalated. Outrage at misused funds. Devices recorded. Karen paled. Shift immediate from me to her. But she resisted surrender. Seized microphone. Furious. Manipulated. False. He's dishonest. Insisted events proceed. With official oversight. Escalated to claimed governmental backing. The morning of the event was overcast. Humid. No volunteers, only Karen, Bill, and an unfamiliar man in a county-branded shirt with notes. Apparent Inspector Maurice. Tools ready on their side. Small group for invasion. We recorded from the porch. Approached fence. Good day, Karen. Limited participation. She presented the man. County official overseeing required hazardous removal and stream setback. He advanced, flashing identification briefly. Correct. Many reports. Authority present. Learned on post. Excellent. Officials love documentation. Show the mandate detailing work, code, and judicial approval for entry. Extended hand. He gripped notes tightly. Shuffled papers. Routine compliance. Records downtown. Karen, impatient. Proceed. Bill lifted the tool. Advanced. Warned firmly. My barrier, my land, unwelcome. He, assuming superiority, pushed me aside roughly. Stumbled slightly. No retaliation, just elevated recording. Diane announced clearly. Captured assault. Reactions shifted. Fear. Perfect timing. Approaching vehicle. Same prior deputy. Alerted by my report. Window down. Again. Assessed. Tools. Tension. Recordings. Heard my account. Viewed clip. Questioned Bill. Physical contact. Stammered minimization. Deputy. Now a criminal. Ordered removal. No return. Or arrests. Karen protested permits. Officials. Dismissed. No governor note overrides. Tools abandoned. Retreated angrily. The deputy noted persistence likely. Escalation to contact and false officials demanded counteraction. Home became a strategy hub. Gather all ownership documents. Title plat enlarged for display. Processed aerial data. Overlaid GPS on official map. Animating fraudulent shift. Marked real pins with hidden UV symbols. Timestamped. Diane researched stream rules. Grandfathered exemption for pre-existing printed highlighted. Evidence fortified. Needed connection proof. Diane's research. Landscaping firm recently registered to Karen's sister via records and photos. Motive. Financial gain via funds diversion. Approached Treasurer Arthur discreetly at routine spot. Showed clip. Registration. Pale fled. But next day, anonymous data delivery. Invoices. Emails. Detailing plot. Payments including to inspector. Complete exposure. Consulted specialist attorney. Presented all. Deemed overwhelming. Suggested final trap. Recorded call to inspector. Posed confusion. Elicited false authority claims. The attorney intervened. Demanded specifics, none provided. Silence incriminating. Immediate frantic call from Karen confirming ties. Desperation evident. A quiet period followed. Preparing a major move. Enhanced security. Lights, cameras. Provided evidence copies to authorities. Midnight activation. Large equipment arriving covertly. With hired guards. Attempted rapid destruction. But rapid response. Multiple units. Guards detained. Operator surrendered. Karen arrived. Demanding. Presented evidence drive. Arrested on spot. Resolution efficient. Please. No contest. Karen. Heavy fines. Restitution. Lifetime board prohibition. Inspector. Terminated. Penalties. Others. Lighter sentences. Company ended. Restraining orders. HOA. Liable. New leadership. Funded restoration. My approved firm. Native planting. Apology. Peace. Nights now serene. Natural sounds. Secure boundaries. Evidence triumphs over abuse.